ส Oh my god, my voice. Oh no, my voice. Hello. It's me, Hoku. I'm back. I'm back on Twitch. Oh my goodness. It's been a long while. Actually, it's been a week because I haven't been able to stream on Twitch at all last week. So this will be the first of the last 2 weeks, probably, I think, right? Yeah, of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and we are continuing it without delay. Oh my god, I really miss this place. Woohoo! Okay. Let's see. I think I'm having issue with the wires. Let me fix that. Okay, I just fixed it. Let's go. I don't really... Okay, to be honest, I'm not really sure where I left off, but I think we'll do just fine. Okay, I wonder if my... Is my microphone working well? It is. Okay, good. Good. 2nd November, 3:38 p.m. Shome Suite. I still can't quite believe what just happened. What happened? I don't remember. I know I inquired with the bailiff after the court session was adjourned. And it seems Mr. Vigil was taken to hospital to recover. Right. Oh, yeah, right. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to commit suicide by jumping out of the window of the prison governor's office. But ever since then, he's completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret, not his family, not even the man himself, but I forced it out into the open. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep the mark, I wonder? Runa! Oh, Iris! You are miles away. Anyway, I've brewed a fresh pot of soothing tea for you. Oh, thank you. You and Susie have had an exhausting day so far, haven't you? Oh! Thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is? Wait. Ooh. Then we came out of the courtroom back into the defendant's antechamber. He had disappeared. Oh, no, I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave. I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Gixon's death. Well, you know, the Hurleys always sing, don't you? There are mysteries in this world that should perhaps never be solved. For the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the construction of someone else. Hello! Oh my god, hold up, wait. Oh my god, PPE, thank you so much for 22 months! Thank you! 22 months in a row! You rock, man! My dude, thank you so much! Thank you! does she mean? He knows very well that when you open someone else's old wounds, you often open your own too. But he just can't take his own device and leave well alone. Solving mysteries is too important for him. That's so true. But that's what I like about Hurley after all. I suppose that's a lot of a great detective in some ways. Wait, sorry. My friend texted me. So then, let's have tea, and then I'll give you a hand. Oh, do you have time, Iris? Yes, I finished this month's manuscript at last. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. A brand new story to read in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. You know, I always hide Hurley's violin in the days before I have a deadline. You do? Poor Mrs. Sholmes. I'm sure that's very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation. Okay, so we are conversing this morning's trial. So, how did it go in court this morning? What? Wait, liquid detected in lightning connector? Oh shit, okay. Okay, I'll disconnect. I'll disconnect my charger from the camera. I don't know what happened. I guess it's too hot that some liquid got into the lightning I have no idea. Well, we still don't know the truth about what really happened. One thing's increasingly clear. Oh, wrong button. Lord Van Zieks definitely didn't do it. Oh, goody! Yes, that's right. We managed to uncover several new facts as well. Oh, really? And there was another development too, Kazuma. Yes, it's quite clear now. That Kazuma-sama is not himself. The way he's acting is almost as if he's possessed. I know, I mean, at the end of the proceedings earlier, he was like a bloodhound the way he was chasing down Mr. Vigil's forgotten past. He's not normally so mercilessly persistent. Yeah, exactly. What's going on in his head, I wonder? I really need to sit down with Kazuma and try to understand what he's going through. Okay, the Reaper's innocence. If Gregson was really murdered the day before his body was discovered, then Lord Van Zieks has to be innocent, you see. What? The day before? Well, that should be easy enough to work out just by examining the corpse, Joey. Yes, you would expect so, but curiously, no time of death was included in the autopsy report. That is curious. There are still unanswered questions about Lord Van Zieks, though, aren't they? Do you mean... I mean, what he was doing there on Fresno Street that day in the first place. Well, according to the man's testimony, he said he was investigating Inspector Gregson, didn't he? And it turns out that the little room was actually the inspector's secret office. Ooh, that sounds like it has all the makings of wonderful devilish plot. But then, why was that notice board in there covered in all those particular papers? Papers about cases with a link to the Reaper. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about all this. Oh dear, this sounds more like something horribly devilish. We must start by looking into Inspector Gregson's movements of late. Gregson's movements? I see. I never imagined I might have to be investigating an inspector's movements. Well, according to the entry in this diary, he was carrying out an incognito investigation of the Red-Headed League the day before his death. Oh! You mean he was doing the same as Hurley? Well, Mr. Sholmes was trying to apply, whereas... Whereas the inspector was supposed to be investigating. I do wish it had been the other way around. Anyway, as it turns out, the inspector who went to investigate the Red-Headed League that day wasn't actually Gregson at all. It was Mr. Vigil, in possession of Gregson's identification. You know what that sounds like to me? Establishing an alibi. Oh my! Yes, you're absolutely right, Iris. But why would Gregson need an alibi? It would appear that the inspector had something to do that he wished to keep secret. I don't believe it. I always thought it was just a harmless lover of fish and chips. But perhaps they were seasoned with something a little more potent than salt and vinegar. I think perhaps we should try to move away from food analogies. Well, anyway, if Lord Van Seeks felt the need to investigate Gregson... Yes, I agree, we must try to find out what he knows. Sorry, I'm like... My friends are all very persistent with all these texts. I don't really like it, but well, you know. It happened. That's kind of sad. But yeah. Wait. They've changed it, but whatever. Yes, I agree. We must try to find out what he knows. Well, I've been working with this group project with my friends. But, you know, it doesn't really... How would you call it? It's not very... It hasn't been very successful. So a lot of people are like very on edge right now. Yep. Okay. Mr. Vigil's condition. Well, it's a school project, so it sucks. I know it sucks. School sucks. I don't really like school. I mean, I love going to school because I love studying. I love learning new things. I love my friends, but I don't like homeworks and I don't like tests. Yeah. I said it. Vigil, you say? Isn't that the name of the lady who came to visit her yesterday? That's right. To ask Mr. Sholmes if he would help her to find her missing husband. Oh, only Mr. Sholmes completely passed the buck to us. Actually, didn't you say that Mr. Vigil had been taken to the hospital? Do you know which one? It's St. Sinners. I'm starting to wonder if all the other hospitals in London have closed down. Because everybody goes to St. Sinners. But that's amazing, Reno. You found the lady's husband already. Well, I suppose I have by accident. And 10 years ago, while Mr. Vigil was a chief warder at the prison, he was responsible for overseeing the professor's incarceration. No! So when the convict escaped, he was held responsible and immediately dismissed. Ugh, sometimes I really don't want to grow up. There's more. For 10 years after that, while he was ostensibly working as a peddler, he also had another secret job. He was paid by Gregson to be his stand-in, to impersonate the inspector. To impersonate Gregson? But why? I have absolutely no idea. Jeannie was right. I'm starting to think all adults are up to no good now. Including you, Runo. I haven't paid anyone to impersonate me. Oh my god. That means he has ties to the professor and to Inspector Gregson, though. So I do think we ought to pay a visit to Mr. Vigil, don't you? Back to St. Sinners then. Okay. We have to go to St. Sinners. Well, I think it's clear what we need to do, isn't it? Let us investigate, my dear fellows. Oh, Ahiles, you're even more enthusiastic than usual today. If anyone has anything to hide, my special Wilson shooting iron will soon set them straight. That water pistol is stuffed full of a piping hot extra special blend of mine. Then I'm quite sure it will be very effective. I'd better be careful not to hide anything. Oh well. It feels a little strange that Mr. Sholmes is nowhere to be seen, but still. Let's go and see what we can find out. Yes! Wow, so active, so enthusiastic. We have to move, though, to the hospital bed. And of course, it's the same hospital. 2nd November, St. Sinners Hospital, Ward 3. He's not here. Huh. That must be the patient's... These must be the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Tendency to jump from windows. Remember to place cushion at the base of wall outside. Aren't we a story out from the ground here? Oh dear. Poor Mr. Vigil. I can't help feeling that there's a better solution to the problem than a cushion, though. Finding something you've lost isn't always a happy experience, it turns out. Pursuing the truth can be a very dark business sometimes, can't it? Yes, I'm afraid it can. Okay. This notice caught my eye before, actually. I suppose it's some sort of slogan for the ward? A cheerful welcome message, perhaps? Let's see. Pay with good cheer. Leave with good cheer. Well, look at that! You were spot on, Miss Susato. It is full of cheer. I wonder how many discharged patients pay the medical bills with good cheer, though. Once I had to have a very painful injection when I fell ill with a cold. I felt awful already, so why did I have to suffer the sting of injection as well as a bill? I yelled at the doctor. Oh dear, what terrible treatment. There are all sorts of medicines in his cabinet. Look, I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this. Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try some of the pills. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors. I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock. Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mr. Sato. Well, hunger can actually turn someone into a criminal, I'd say. There are lots of bottles in that cabinet there, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them there? Hey, if you were a patient here, I feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep. That is a worry. But at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one. Oh, I've no doubt you'd manage to unlock that somehow while you're half asleep as well. There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Miss Susato. Look, a pair of crutches. Before we came to Britain, I hadn't realized they were used here as well. I imagine they were imported to Japan from the Great Britain in the first place. Oh, so no one in all of Japan broke a leg before their arrival? Anyway, the sight of these things doesn't bring back good memories for me. Oh dear, did you injure yourself once and need to use some? When I was little, I thought they looked fun, so I borrowed a pair to play with. But then I slipped and sprained my ankle. I see. They contain powerful magic, those wooden staffs. The power to heal and the power to harm. I think a certain cheeky little boy managed to cause a harm all by himself. Patient treatment notes. What did he say, I wonder? Endlessly obliging. I suppose that's referring to the patient in this bed. I would think so, and until Mr. Vigil is a little more stable. It's probably just as well as he has a kindly person in the neighborhood bed. The endlessly part is a little worrying though, isn't it? I mean, what if Mr. Vigil suddenly declared that he'd like to take a trip out a window? Would this endlessly obliging patient simply open it for him and say, "Be my guest"? Let's check with the doctor later. Okay, oh shit. Okay, we have to move somewhere else first. Right, I knew it. November, British Supreme Court Lord Chief Justice's office. No arguments, Prosecutor Asogi. You will continue with the trial exactly as I instructed. Is that clear? Perfectly. It's Kazuma-sama, defying Lord Strongheart by the sound of it. He never did know when to back down. On your way now, Asogi, my lord. Kazuma. He left without saying a word. Yes, what are you doing? Oh, I was just hoping to ask you a few questions if you wouldn't mind. I wanted Van Cease's trial concluded today. But Prosecutor Asogi's unwelcome inquiries are going to make it take longer than necessary. Unwelcome inquiries? As a result, I'm losing even more precious time. Currently 2 hours, 55 minutes and 41 seconds. 42, 43... Then we must resolve everything before 3 hours have passed, Mr. Naruto. In a miraculous not even 5 minutes. Anyway, can't let the man's obvious bad mood put me off. I need information. Okay, so I have to converse with the Reaper. Does Prosecutor Asogi believe that Lord Van Cease is a Reaper? I wouldn't know. It was 10 years ago in that fateful close trial that Lord Van Cease made a name for himself among the judiciary. But the next trial he fought, he lost. It meant the ringleader of a criminal organization was acquitted, thanks to all the jurors being under jurors. But that's awful. The man's freedom was short-lived. He lasted just 3 days. Yes, let me see. He died in a rock slide at his place of work, I believe. Correct. That was the inauguration of the Reaper of the Valley. And people believed Lord Van Cease was responsible? He was brought to trial himself, but it was shown to have been an accident, so he must have had a solid alibi. Nevertheless, the mysterious deaths continued. In total, 16 persons perished in unusual circumstances, ostensibly at the hand of the Reaper. That's a long run of coincidences. Well, the Reaper's true identity may well be revealed by this trial. And the impact that revelation would have on the British public cannot be understated. Is that why it's a closed trial? Precisely. Okay, closed trial. This country hasn't seen a closed trial for 10 years, so the last one was the professors, the trial of Genshin Asogi. Correct. Actually, we heard that originally you were going to prosecute that trial yourself, Lord Sohan. Van Cease entreated me to relinquish the prosecution to him, that he might avenge his brother's death. And here we are 10 years later. With the son of the man Van Cease had condemned now looking to avenge his father's death in the same way. They do say that what goes around comes around. What goes around comes back around, yeah. What song is that? I believe it's Beyonce's. I don't know. However, it was seen that the new young prosecutor is harboring some ulterior motive as well. Kazuma is? I like my organization to run smoothly in the exact manner that I prescribe. As with a giant clock in here, I won't tolerate a single cog being out of step with the others. So that's all these gears are about in here. If the young man refuses to mesh with the other parts of my great machine, I will be forced to take steps. What do you mean? Not some with which you need concern yourself. In any case, all your questions will be answered tomorrow. Now, I shall have to ask you to excuse me. As of this moment, I've been delayed from attending my next meeting by precisely 3 hours. Oh my, that is a long time. And I hold you entirely responsible, even though we miraculously managed to fit everything into not even 5 minutes. I wonder if you might agree to us, talking with Prosecutor Asogi. Discussions between the defense and the prosecution outside the courtroom are generally frowned upon. However, I'll make an exception in this case. Now go. You can find him in his office. Oh, thank you. Let's go to see him at once, Mr. Naruto. Kazuma's my best friend in the world, but I'm really not at all sure I know how to talk to him at the moment. That is so kind of let down, you know? November Prosecutor's Office. So, this is the office of Prosecutor Asogi now, is it? Kazuma-sama is doing so well for himself. Even though he's always forced to kneel on the floor, Japanese style in that dark corner. It's his habit to sit Seiza style whenever he's working. Well, it looks like our journey here was wasted. The prosecutor appears to be out. Perhaps we should discuss things with another prosecutor we know first. So is prison then. 2nd November, local prison, cell 1. Lord Menzies is reading. Look. He doesn't seem like he wants visitors, does he? But he must have noticed that we are here, surely. What do you Nipponese want? That's no way to greet a lawyer who's trying his hardest to prove your innocence, is it? Perhaps not. I apologize. So, what can I do for you, Mr. Naruto? Lord Van Zee speaking earnestly. Oh, the fog will lift over London for the first time in months, Madam. This does feel very, very strange. I must say, I was impressed. Oh, well, thank you. Not by you, by your fellow Nipponese, your prosecutor friend. Oh, I see. Yes. It's sardonic. It's sardonic? It's sardonic, don't you think? For a man such as me, so loathing of the Nipponese, to be entirely at the mercy of the two of you. I suppose. It's retribution for having played the part of the Reaper all these years. Played the part? Let's talk. The Reaper's identity. You once told me that you gladly allowed people to believe you were the Reaper, because it helped reduce the amount of serious crime that took place in London. If keeping quiet and playing the part benefits a cause I myself am committed to pursuing, then why would I choose to say anything? But the henchman of the criminal killed by the Reaper attacked you only the other day. And that was just the most recent of many attempts on your life, wasn't it? Someone is clearly profiting from your silence about all this. Someone is using you. Believe me, ever since the Reaper first appeared, I've been doing my utmost to expose him. Or rather, expose the organization. It's a whole organization? It's inconceivable that all those accidents were orchestrated by one man. No, the Reaper always appears to have very accurate information about the accused in each case, which can only mean that somebody in Scotland Yard is involved. Someone that you can't mean. It's taken me many years, but I've finally identified the central figure in this Reaper organization. Tobias Gregson. No! Gregson, the Reaper? It's Gregson's secret. So, the reason you were investigating Inspector Gregson is because you intended to expose him as a Reaper? As I said, the Reaper of the Bailey is no single person. It's a highly secret organization with close ties to Scotland Yard. But there's no doubt that Gregson was a key member of that organization. I don't believe it. Wait. Okay, are you saying that that he was behind all those awful criminals meeting there? Gregson didn't do the dirty work himself. Oh! He was a tactician. His job was to covertly investigate the marks and plot their assassinations. In order to do that without arousing suspicion, he regularly needed a firm alibi, which is where Mr. Vigil came in, posing as the inspector. Vigil knows nothing of the Reaper, but the room he rents on Fresno Street was almost certainly the headquarters of the operation. Gregson would have met the assassin there for briefings. So we don't actually know who carried out the killings then. Actually, I do have a name. What? Well, if you can name the man, you have the true identity of the Reaper already then. Or, if I can name the woman. Oh. She's a young woman by the name of Asa Shin. Wait, what? Shin? Miss Asa Shin, the true name of a terrifying killer and know only two. She came to Japan posing as a visiting student and murdered Dr. John H. Wilson. Sorry, I'm choking on my saliva. What should I be eating today for lunch? Then, just when it happened that diplomatic protection would help her escape Japan on conviction, the mysterious woman was herself murdered in a small summer beach hut. And that woman was actually the Reaper of the Bailey? Mr. Naruhodo, this perhaps isn't a place to discuss. No, of course not. We can't mention it here. The fact that she killed Dr. John H. Wilson. Because Iris doesn't know, and it's very likely that the man was her father. Asa Shin. I should let father know at once. Yes, I agree. Prosecutor Asogi. Kazuma, isn't it? Kazuma Asogi. You say he's a friend of yours. My best friend. He's the whole reason I got to come to Britain. It was all on his merits. I have nothing but respect for him. Yes, I understand that only the very best students are selected for such opportunities. And I had a fine demonstration of how sharp he is in the proceedings earlier today. He missed nothing. In fact, his flawless performance very much reminded me of his father, Genshin Azuki, the professor. It's true that the aristocracy at the time was the root of numerous grave societal problems. They were abusing their power, playing with the common man as pawns in politics, in economics, in war. In many ways, Asogi was carving out a canker from society that we British couldn't deal with ourselves. I see. But that's precisely why it makes no sense. Clint Van Seeks was a noble and upstanding man. He wasn't corrupt. Why'd that damn Nipponese have to go and take my brother's life? I don't know. In spite of having once saved mine. What? He saved your life? How'd that happen? I just knew it. Like, I feel like Genshin Asogi wasn't really the professor. Maybe it was some accident or misunderstanding, I refuse to believe that Kazuma's father is a criminal, saving your life. It was 10 years ago on a foggy night. What was to be the professor's final strike had sent a wave of panic through the capital, so Clint Van Seeks had already been killed at this point. Genshin and I were walking out some back streets at a late hour. Of course, at that point, I had no idea of the true nature of the man at my side. All of a sudden... Don't make a peep! You coming with us! Oh shit! This is freaking cool! We were surrounded! All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scarves. Clint was not only from the noble heritage, he was a brilliant prosecutor as well. The scum of London hated the sight of him, and they had no sympathy for his younger brother either. I've been targeted several times before. Yeah, it's Van Seeks alright. We've got him. I could hear him murmuring amongst themselves. I know they were after me. But just when I thought my time had come. If I let them kill you, Clint would never forgive me. It was Asogi's voice, just a whisper. Bang. After that, I don't remember exactly what happened. The next thing I knew, there was silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. He shielded me. Two days later, they arrested him. On suspicion of being London's most notorious mass murderer ever, the prosecutor. How awful for you. All at once, I lost a brother I revered, and the foreign friend I held in such high regard. I'm so sorry, Lord Van Seeks. That's the end of my miserable tale. I never thought I'd recount it to anyone. Well, thank you for confiding in me. The Professor, the Reaper, and Inspector Gregson. I wonder just how intimately related they all are. I don't know, but they look very close. I still can't quite believe that Gregson was essentially the Reaper, giving assassination orders to Giselle Brett. Mr. Naruto, let's go and inform my father. I'm sure our government will want to hear about this new information. Oh, that means I get to meet your daddy, Susie! Hooray! Yes, alright. Let's head back to the Great Waterloo Hotel then. Oh no, I've converted enough. So... What has been added? Nothing? What should I eat for lunch? 2nd November, Great Waterloo Hotel. Foyer. I thought it yesterday and I think it again today. This place is so princely. It's a wild guess, but I have a feeling you'll think the same tomorrow too. My tea has a finer fragrance than whatever they're serving in the tea room here though, wouldn't you say? Ah, look what we have here. This is an unexpected pleasure. Father! Ooh, is this your daddy, Susie? How lovely! What a charming young lady. And you are? Really? So you're the author of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, are you? That's me, Iris Wilson, at your service, sir. Susie's been such a wonderful friend to me over the last year, you know. Well, Miss Wilson, I must say you read your work regularly and with much interest. Iris actually lives with Mr. Sholmes, you know, Father. Is that so? Well, perhaps that goes some way to explain that bright look in your eyes. You wouldn't be smiling so airily if you knew just how bright she is, believe me. Now then, young Naruto, it was a pleasure seeing you in action earlier. As an invitee of the symposium, I was allowed to observe from the gallery after I twisted some nerves, and I must say it was a truly exemplary performance. Oh, well, thank you very much. Although I'm fairly sure you omitted by Kazuma on the end. No, please don't misunderstand. It was you who impressed me. Really? You didn't miss a step against Asogi, and we all know how capable he is. Really, to have matured into such a fine defense lawyer in less than a year is quite extraordinary. It's very kind of you to say so. Really nice to hear. What I saw in court today confirmed what I've been hoping for. The favor I mentioned yesterday, Naruto, I trust you haven't forgotten. Oh, no, you did mention something, didn't you? But first, we have some to report, Father. Of course. We take tea while we discuss matters further? I wonder where Judge Shidogu has gone to. Where is he about the Reaper? Father, do you know about the so-called Reaper of the Bailey? I've heard rumors. Some members of the judiciary explained it all to me yesterday. Of course, when I was a visiting student here in London, the Reaper was yet to emerge. Right. He didn't appear until after that case when the visiting students had already returned home. Lord Van Zeeks, who was in a doctor. That was Barak, the younger brother of Clint Van Zeeks. That's right. And he's known throughout London as a Reaper, as you've heard. But the truth is, it wasn't him behind all those mysterious deaths. It was somebody else. I see. So what you're saying is there's been a professional killer at work here. Exactly. Someone by the name of Asa Shin, in fact. I beg your pardon? Did you say Asa Shin? You mean that Giselle-bred woman who was responsible for killing my great friend? Oh no, a friend of yours was killed? Professor Mikotoba, I think perhaps we should discuss this right now. Because the friend the professor is talking about is Dr. John H. Wilson. And that's not something you want Iris to find out about, not like this anyway. Dr. Wilson's death. I just remembered something. Biscuits! This hotel has the most delicious looking biscuits. That was rather out of the blue. She's doing this deliberately. I think I'll go and see if I can purchase some. I wonder, would you like to come too, Iris? Oh, yes! You just tried to leave me behind. So that young girl is called Iris Wilson, is she? Yes, that's right. And she's the author of all those adventure stories starring the great detective shows. But the name of the accredited author isn't Iris, is it? Is Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, I know. That's the name of her father, you see. Her father? Dr. John H. Wilson. I was deeply indebted to the man for all the kindness he showed me during my time in London. That's why I was keen to reciprocate and invite him to Imperial Humane University 4 years ago. But he was murdered last year by Giselle Brett. Why? Why would the hand of the Reaper stretch all the way to Japan? Iris knows nothing about that case, but it seems very likely that the victim, Dr. Wilson, was her father. Well, I can't say that we ever spoke about his family, so I don't know if he had a daughter or not. Hello! Welcome! Good morning! Good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing fine. I hope you had a good sleep. But I think I can say with some certainty that he was never the great detective's partner. So, it could have been another Dr. Wilson. Well, John and Wilson are both common names after all. Still, it's probably best not to mention this to a young lady until we can be sure. That's what we thought, yes. We're back with cinnamon biscuits! Oh, they smell delicious, Iris. I think cinnamon will go very well with the tea they serve here. Don't you, Susie? Yes, I'm sure you're right, Iris. Jigoku. I haven't seen Jigoku for a while, have you? Guilty! Ha 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 ha! But that guilty is still ringing in my ears. No, now you mention it, I haven't seen him since this morning either. I suppose since the symposium's evening was postponed, you have gone to explore at the great exhibition. Okay, you know what? Jigoku is super suspicious. I'll say it's him. That reminds me of something you mentioned yesterday. About Jigoku having once been in the dock himself? Ah, yes. It was all tied up with that accursed trial. The close trial of Kazuma's father. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify, but he got a little carried away and, actually managed to break the witness stand. Oh my. He also says some contemptuous words about the British Empire for which he was charged. Oh dear. Although it's worryingly easy to imagine him doing that. Well, it was all right in the end. He was acquitted and we returned home to Japan together. Thank goodness. Ah yes, talking of Seishiro. I have a copy of the photograph we all took together here from yesterday, please. So cute. Oh, what a lovely picture. It certainly seems to shout, "We have arrived in Britain!" Okay, the photograph taken in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel on the morning of Professor Mikotoba and Jigoku's arrival in London for the symposium. None of us had any idea what was coming when we took that, did we? No, that's so true. The favor. So, you mentioned a favor that you'd like to ask me. Well, this faithful trial that you are fighting, one way or another, it'll be over before long. And when it is, I'd like you to accompany me back to Japan. You want me to do what? But Father, what's the meaning of this? Now, Susato, you should understand. You've seen how our courts work firsthand. Japan's judicial system is in its infancy, especially when it comes to the defense. Oh, you mean the Supreme Court of Judicature is in desperate need of a good defense lawyer. As soon as possible, really quite urgently, in fact. But I've not even been in London a year yet. I've read all of Susato's reports. I'm well aware of your extraordinary talents. And having seen you in action with my own eyes earlier today, there's no question. You, Naruto, are precisely the man our country needs. So, you'll be leaving then, you know? But then, what am I supposed to do, Father? I came here to serve as Azoki's judicial assistant. Oh yes, she's supposed to be Kazuma's assistant. Our government is still in the process of deciding how best to deal with this situation. You've always chosen your own path, Susato, and I trust your judgment. In this matter also. Father! Please, the pair of you, don't look so downcast. It's merely a suggestion, you understand? A hope, if I'm honest, but I won't force you. All I ask is that you consider it, and come to a decision by the time this trial concludes. Okay? Yes, alright. You won't leave, will you, Bruno? Oh, come on, those puppy eyes. The thought hadn't even crossed my mind. Up until now, I've just been trying to do what I believe to be Kazuma's will. But it turns out that he's still alive, so... where does that leave me? Well, if you excuse me now, I need to telegram government ministers and the Japanese police with this information about Asa Shin. Of course, Father. Thank you. I look forward to the next month's installment, Miss Wilson. Oh, good! And please do come to Baker Street sometime, won't you? I'd love to entertain you. I'll be delighted. Best of luck for tomorrow, Naruto. And give my suggestion your full consideration. Yes, I will. Going back home. You know, Kazuma has always meant a great deal to my father. I'm sure he'd love the chance to meet with him and talk to him about all of this. Yes, no doubt. Asa Shin. Of course! It's so obvious! How could I've neglected to consider a possibility before now? Ugh. Mr. Shobes! Hurley! Where have you been? Why, I joined you over tea, of course. What an extraordinary question. I didn't notice you at all. No matter. Anyway, to more pressing concerns, Mr. Naruto. Oh, yes? I must dispatch a telegram to your country at once. It is a matter of much urgency. To Japan? Tell me! To whom I can entrust a task. Quickly now. Who? Well... my father has just now left to send a telegram to Imperial Police Bureau of Japan himself. I see. Well, you look reliable enough for a bearded fellow. I don't know what father's words could be considered a beard, Mr. Shobes. There's not a moment to lose. Kindly ask your trusty unshaven father to see that this is sent. I will, but what is it? No questions at its time, if you please, Miss Susato. All we can do is pray. That for once, my deduction is alright. Doesn't that imply that your deductions are normally correct, Mr. Sholmes? And now then, you may be surprised to learn that I'm a very busy man. I certainly have no time to hide behind settees and eavesdrop on other people's conversations. So that's what joining us for tea meant. I leave the sending of this in your hands, my dear fellow. Wait a minute, Mr. Sholmes. He just sort of ran off, didn't he? At quite a pace. And left the unpaid bill for his tea behind, too. I must catch up with father at the telegraph office at once. And I'll run and call us a cab. Straight away! And there was me thinking everyone would be clamoring to pay Mr. Sholmes' bill. Is he here already? 2nd November, St. Sinners Hospital, Ward 3. This is a ward where Mr. Vigil was brought, apparently. To be frank, I'm a little worried about seeing him again. Ah, the lawyer. Hello again. Are you feeling better now, Mr. Vigil? Yes, thank you. Somewhat better. I'm so sorry to have caused you to. I mean, it was because of me. If I hadn't exposed your secret and forced you to remember things you would obviously try to forget. The prosecutor was here until a few moments ago too. You just missed him. Oh, Kazuma beat us to it. He said the same as you. He was very apologetic. But the truth is, I brought all this upon myself. Please don't think like that. Keeping it from Evie, my wife, all these years, I've carried such a sense of guilt. But that's not the worst of it. Over time, I obviously came to deceive myself as well. You mean about your dismissal? Looking back now, I'm beginning to think that perhaps Inspector Gregson didn't stumble across me by accident. I mean, he compensated me so generously for acting as his stand-in. He was clearly concerned for my well-being and doing what he could to help. So perhaps Gregson knew exactly what had become of Mr. Visual all along then. I'm sure this is just desserts for 10 years of lies and deception, but... It wasn't me that held the professor escape 10 years ago. It wasn't me. I swear it. I swear it's true. Oh, Mr. Vigil. I'm sure you'd rather not dredged up even more from your past at this time, but if possible, could you tell us exactly what really happened? I want to. I need to get all this off my chest. I just want someone to tell me what I should have done. Okay. Gregson's request. Inspector Gregson was obviously engaged in a special operation of some sort. He was investigating something that even Scotland Yard couldn't know about. Details of the Reaper's marks, yes. It was when he had to carry out those investigations that I would take his identification and impersonate him. You'd pretend to be the inspector and carry out investigations on his behalf. Oh no, never! A common street peddler couldn't possibly carry out a proper police investigation. All I would do is go to the specified location and make a little hoo-ha. Just some to leave an impression, so everyone there would think a detective called Gregson was here. So, that's what you were doing on the day prior to the incident? Yes, he asked me to make an appearance at the park on Lime Street for the Red-Headed League event. So as usual, I flashed the inspector's identification around and was very vocal about my presence. But then you were taken prisoner by those red-headed fraudsters. Yes. So, you would always make a point of showing Gregson's identification and generally being loud. That's what the inspector asked me to do, yes. Well, that's one way of becoming a legendary detective, I suppose. Not a good one, though. And as you know, I suffered this bruising around my neck at their hands. But the following day, they kept their word and released me, without returning the inspector's identification to you, however. We had arranged to meet in the Fresno Street room at 5 that day so he could report back to the inspector. But at the agreed time, that's when I heard the gunshot. The prison escape. It was at midnight on 17 June 2 years ago. That was the time scheduled for the execution. But the professor's execution never actually took place, did it? Or rather, the execution itself must have been used to effect the plan of escape. I hardly dare to imagine what a shilling plan it was. Barclay was renowned for being the highest security prison in the country. Everything that went in or out of the place was searched multiple times. But there was one notable exception. Or rather, one notable loophole. Something that was never questioned. I have a feeling I know what that loophole was. The coffins into which the bodies of the executed convicts were placed, correct? Yes. Once the coroner confirmed the death of a condemned convict, the body was taken in its coffin for immediate burial in Lowgate Cemetery just behind the prison. The chief warder first had to sign the necessary papers. And after that, no member of staff was permitted to touch a coffin containing the body again. When executions took place, only the executioner and the coroner were permitted inside the chamber. I would wait in the adjacent room for word that the condemned convict was dead. On that occasion, once I had that confirmation, I went into the mortuary to find a lone coffin as usual. The procedure was that I would sign the paperwork having checked the coffin, then nail it shut. But for some reason that day, the coffin was already nailed shut. No! I didn't think anything of it at the time. I assumed that my deputy must have checked the coffin and nailed it shut before I arrived. So, you mean the coffin contained... Yes, I can only imagine that Asogi, having escaped his execution somehow, was alive inside the coffin. The coffin was then taken out through the main gates and deposited in Lowgate Cemetery. Presumably, there wouldn't have been enough air inside to breathe for long. So, in the early hours following the burial, somebody dug up the coffin again to set him free. But in the end, he was fatally shot in the graveyard anyway. What on earth really happened in Logate Cemetery that night, I wonder? I'm afraid I really don't know. All I can say with certainty are two things. Asogi couldn't possibly have escaped that way without help from somebody working in the prison. And that somebody was not me. The convict Asogi. Interesting. Obviously, you knew the man then. The professor, I mean. Genshin Asogi. Yes, I remember him well, in fact. Would you mind telling us what you know? Well, having been condemned to death as he was, any contact I had with the man was short, obviously. After that trial, which was carried out behind closed doors, attended only by elite members of the judiciary, they called for his execution to be carried out at the earliest possible opportunity. Okay, I'm ordering food right now because I feel like it. What should I eat? I would eat caprao. Wow, that would be good. Okay. Ooh, there's some. Should I have pork or? Yeah, I feel like having pork. Okay, good. I'm done ordering. If you want to order some food, please order it now if you haven't eaten anything. I'm not sure if you've eaten anything, but I would love for you to be able to eat a lot of stuff, you know? Okay, I am about to press. Okay. I'm getting caprao. Ah! I love it. I love myself. I love myself so much. Wait, let me see. The outcome of the trial was set from the beginning, wasn't it? Okay, I have to see because you know it's a long holiday, and apparently I've been cancelled a lot of times with my food ordering. It was a time of delicate diplomacy when Britain and Japan were in the process of signing an important treaty. That meant that this potentially de-establishing case had to be dealt with swiftly and discreetly. The man had less than a week in total. As I was the chief warder, I oversaw his short stay in the cells until his final hour. I remember being struck deeply by his noble character and his incredible resilience. What do you mean exactly? It means he's not a professor! I don't feel like he is. He was a killer of many men, but he was always quiet and polite. He was a gentleman and a man of intellect. In fact, I couldn't bring myself to believe what he'd done, so I asked him one day, those 5 members of the aristocracy whose lives were taken, were you really responsible? I'm guilty of the unforgivable crime of ending another human's life, yes. I'm sure he's not. It's always like this with this freaking game. The following day, the closed trial took place, and the verdict was no surprise. Guilty. That night, when he was brought back to his cell, I saw something unusual. Something unusual? What? The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi. What? Asogi's will. As I said, it was on the night following his trial after he had been found guilty. I was doing the rounds of the cells, and when I looked into Asogi's, I noticed that he seemed to have a sheet of paper in his hand. His last will and testament then, presumably. As soon as he noticed me, he hurriedly shoved it behind his back. But why do you find that so unusual? Isn't it normal for a man to pen a will when he knows his death is nigh? Hello! Welcome, good morning! Yes, that's true, but there were special conditions to Asogi's incarceration, you see. What sort of conditions? Well, even though he was held in a cell designed for condemned inmates, he was allowed to keep his personal effects with him, with one exception. Really? He was allowed these things? That is unusual, certainly. Of course, he had been convicted of killing 5 members of the aristocracy, but at the same time, he was a guest in our country from the Empire of Japan. The powers that be were determined that his final days should be needlessly uncomfortable. And what was the exception you mentioned? To the personal effects he was allowed? That's the point. He wasn't permitted to have writing materials. Specifically, no pens or paper. So, he was prevented from leaving any written record of what had happened to him? Yes, that was the long and the short of it. I have no idea where he obtained that paper. Any writing materials would have been confiscated from him upon his incarceration. As I said, he hid the paper behind his back and then he pleaded with me. Why don't you just hide behind your back? Please turn a blind eye. This is my lifeline. But you know it's against the rules. You are the only person who's seen if you just agree to keep quiet. Alright then, but what's on that paper? A last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. How can a will be a weapon? So I decided to pretend I'd seen nothing, and I let him keep his will. But then later, it just seemed to vanish without trace. What? What do you mean it vanished? It would seem that isn't the end of the story of this mysterious will. The will's disappearance. I was the only person who saw Asogi's will, but somehow it disappeared. It was after Asogi's execution, which was actually an elaborate jailbreak. The warders gathered up Asogi's possessions that were in his cell. They were all to be sent back to his family home in Japan, you see. To poor Kazuma-sama. And you're saying that it wasn't anywhere to be found among his personal effects? The will, I mean. That's right. Though I didn't search through them myself. But Governor Kato was livid. He was screaming. It can have disappeared completely. That doesn't quite make sense though, does it? In what way? Well, we had understood that only Mr. Visual was aware of the will's existence. Yeah, right. In which case, how did the prison governor know to look for it? Oh yes, you're right. I really don't know how he knew. But it certainly seemed as though he knew of the will's existence from the outset. Only he didn't refer to it as a will. That what he said was the Asogi papers. The Asogi papers? I really can't tell you anything of the subsequent events. Because, well, of what happened. Your dismissal, and the way you blocked it all from your memory. I'd forgotten all this until today. I don't suppose it's relevant to the case though. Well, anyway, thank you very much for sharing it with us, Mr. Visual. We're very grateful. I'm afraid there's really little more I can tell you. My wife Evie will be here shortly, so I do hope I don't appear rude, but... No, not at all. Thank you again. But what will become of you now? Well, impersonating a police officer is a criminal offense, of course. I imagine that once I'm fully recovered, I shall be arrested. I'm so sorry. Don't be, please. This was all my own doing. I always knew that this day would come. Well, I wish you well. Goodbye, Mr. Visual. Ah! Before you go, there's just one thing! Oh, yes? What is it? The Asogi papers. I'd be very grateful if you'd made no mention of the things I told you about them. Presumably for some good reason. It's my understanding that their very existence is a closely guarded secret. Well, we'll have to talk about it. Eventually, if it became known that I'd remember. Well, it could be rather troublesome, I think. I understand. Some sort of will that Genshin Asogi penned just before his death, which the man himself claimed was his last weapon. I wonder, perhaps it has something to do with his plan to escape. If there's anyone who might know more about a document that Kazuma's father left behind, it would be Mr. Visual's governor. Then we know precisely where we must go, back to Barclay Prison. Aww. New location. November, Barclay Prison, Governor's Office. Ah, back again, are you? Yes, hello. I've heard all about your investigations. I read the report just now. You found him, eh, Visual? Yes, luckily. Well, anywho, the laddie doesn't work here no more, so your case is nothing to do with Barclay. I wouldn't like you to get the wrong idea about that. Of course, yes. Mr. Visual stopped working here 10 years ago now, so... Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? He was given a shock. Aye, Kimmer, you can very well. So how would we handcuff this? Whoa, they're really all like little handcuffs, and as hard as irons, too. So, what's brought you down here today? Well, there's something else we'd like to ask you about, actually. Is that so? We believe there might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin Asogi's cell. I think it's been called the Asogi Papers or something. Did I know say Gregson's death is now to do with things that might have happened at Bogley? Leave the past in the past, laddie. Let's not further boot with relevant details. His expressions changed completely. We're clear onto some here. Ten-year-old legacy. Hello, welcome. Hello. Welcome. And good morning, everybody. Welcome. I hope you had a good sleep. I know I did. I had a good sleep. If you didn't examine here before, now is your chance. Yeah, well, I will. That murderer's botched execution and the whole miserable escape. There were Bogley's darkest hours, a shocking embarrassment. Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison staff, you mean? Aye, for shame. The coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution, Courtney Sith, and my chief warder at the time, Vigil, who was in charge of the whole affair. But Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it. The rascal wouldn't say otherwise, eh? More handcuffs? Oh, how could he say no? You can never have too much iron in your diet. When Mr. Vigil was handed his dismissal notice as a result of what had happened, it was so despairing, he jumped out of the office window to me. I didn't like to say, but that's his Vigil tried to get over it. Do you not think he wouldn't jump from the shock of his crimes being exposed, eh? I do. You wouldn't say otherwise, though, would you? Yeah, of course. Of course, I can share no responsibility myself. I shouldn't have let him deceive me. Actually, there's barely anybody that kens what went on all the time at a time now. Gregson haven't been murdered, and Dr. Sid forbidden from having any visitors. No visitors? Someone obviously doesn't want to give me anything away. Well, we're not going home empty-handed. And I wouldn't dream of you sending you packing with no Kimmon. Here, take a handcuff or two. Oh, well, it would be rude to say no. Would want to become anemic. I suppose there's anybody who might still ken about what happened back then. It'd be that last from the forensic division, Maria Gori. Maria Gori? Aye, Sis' daughter. She didn't have no more, just the one. But the wee Burns followed in her mom's footsteps. You didn't ever see her without a scalp in her hand. Ah! Mama, what is this? Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? Dr. Sid's daughter, Marie Gori. What could you do with we could do with talking to her? Gori. So, she's Dr. Sid's daughter, but her surname is Gori? Aye, there's some family history, I'm sure, but I didn't get into the roots of it. She grew up watching her men working with buddies and folk who died in strange circumstances, and decided to do the same with her own life. I can understand it myself. Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother. Perhaps. Anywho, she was in charge of Gregson's autopsy effort. Oh, shit. Wrong button. Right, and the coroner responsible for this incomplete report. Someone told me once that the wee lassie it was rumored that she used to listen to the funeral march as a lullaby. Well, then perhaps her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago. I'd say there's a fighting chance of this. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of us. You really need to speak to Miss Glory yourself about this, I think. Well, thank you very much. I'm no happy about any part of this. It took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you get up on this, laddie? Stop asking pointless questions. I'm sorry. I don't like dredging up these painful memories for everyone. Can you just stay away, Nu? Leaving me alone and didn't come back here, eh? The Asogi papers. Nope, we're still asking. How do you come to ken about that, laddie? There's no many folk even here in the prison who've heard of those papers. Well, I can't tell him it's a visual to me. I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir. We have been led to believe the papers are actually a last will and testament, is that right? The professors, or rather, Genshin Azuki's. Good morning! Good morning, welcome. Welcome. Aye, that's right. You're well informed, Jane. Oh, is that the end of the silent treatment? But then after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell. Evers, no, you are off at half-cock there. I think you didn't quite get your facts straight. It was there in the cell, exactly where it should have been. Oh, not what we heard elsewhere. Let me just have a wee poke around here. I'm sure I can find it. Aye, here you are. See? The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi, written with a calligraphy brush. Oh my god, that's a song. Calligraphy brush. Okay. Of course, I can't read a word of those Japanese squiggles, but I might have says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back in his own land. Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it. So these are the Asogi papers? Aye, of course they are. Papers written by Asogi, undoubtedly. There's no mystery here, laddie. That's going on. After all this damage, all the slayster of an execution, we sent the man's possessions back to his clan in Japan, and that was the end of it. I think we ought to make a record of this, Mr. Naruto, just in case. The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi that Mr. Visual claims disappeared after the convict's execution. Apparently, Mr. Asogi described it as the only weapon I have left. One thing before you go on your way, Mr. Naruto. Oh, yes. Let's see. The court record. I, Genshin Asogi, hereby request that upon my death, any and all material possessions and wealth belonging to me in London will be delivered to my son, Kazuma Asogi, in Empire Japan. It is with deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land, in the knowledge that I will never see my homeland or family again, but I regret nothing about my chosen path. Interesting. Okay. Oh, yes? Those papers are now to do with Grigson's death. I prefer it if you didn't make no mention of them outside this office. Or rather, I would just prefer it considered an order from the highest levels of our government. I I understand. We have to move to... Wait, where is that again? Yeah, maybe Kazuma's back. I don't know. 2nd November, Prosecutor's Office. Oh, yes, finally. Kazuma. White doesn't really suit. Like, really? I don't really like him in white. Hello, welcome! I thought it wouldn't be long before you paid me a visit, Lucene. I was right about what I said, wasn't I? Sorry? That would all the making of great defense lawyer. Well, I always believed that you'd fulfill your dream of advocating in the British courts. I just never imagined for 1 second that it would be as a prosecutor. Seeing you stand in a foreign courtroom so gallantly realizing your dream, Kazuma-san, I'm truly happy for you. And I'm truly thankful to you, Judicial Assistant Kotama. Aww. You know, Steve, I always thought it would be fun for you and I to shake up the British legal system a little together. This isn't quite how I envisaged it, but I suppose it's just another twist of fate. I've learned a lot of things during my time in London about how Susanoo-san's father was himself a visiting student here once along with Judge Hoku, and about what happened with your father. Then you'll have no difficulty understanding why I had no choice, why I had to find a way to get Britain as a visiting student myself. I want to hear from you, Kazuma. As you wish. They start with the first name basis. With a full name basis even, not the first name. Your disappearance. It's getting on for a year now since what happened on the Ancestor. We were heading across the oceans from Japan to Great Britain when a bizarre series of coincidences led to those tragic events. I thought I'd lost my best friend forever. I must have been unconscious for a long time. When I awoke, I was lying on a bed. It was a narrow little room. There was a posy of flowers by the pillow. It took me a little while to realize that I was in the cabin of the ship. I slipped out of the room and headed up onto the deck. Were you already suffering from amnesia at that point? Yes, I didn't know what had happened or where I was. That was just this voice in my head. You have something you have to do, something no one else can know about. Go to Great Britain. Your tax awaits you there. It was a calling I couldn't ignore. It compelled me relentlessly. Out on deck, I saw that I was on a huge steamship, and we were docked in a large port. It must have been Hong Kong. Yes, it must have been. Presumably just before they were due to carry a body off the ship. I had no idea of the situation, but I did have the feeling that this was in some way my last chance. So I concealed myself among the disembarking passengers and went ashore. Then I disappeared into the crowded streets of that foreign port city, so I could plan my onward journey to Great Britain. The journey to Britain. Just under a year ago, with all my past memories lost, to me, I was left behind in Hong Kong. Everything was foreign. The sights, the sounds, the smells, my head peeled. I was truly at a loss. I realize now that I'd escaped as a dead man with nothing but clothes on my back. No money, of course. Oh, how terrifying for you. Luckily, though, I had 2 feathers in my cap. One being your knowledge of English, I suppose. That's right. And on the back of that, I was able to pick up some work as a deckhand on a cargo ship. Eventually, after calling in countless forms, I finally arrived at Tokyo. That must have been some 3 months ago now. Your formidable tenacity of purpose showing itself again. I mean, the man had lost his memory and had literally nothing to his name, but he still managed to make his way to London on the opposite side of the world. Of course, I had no idea why I had moved heaven and earth to get here at that point. So, how'd you end up being Lord Manseek's apprentice then? That can only be called an extraordinary stroke of luck, really. You see, I was stopped at the border because I had no papers. They took me straight to Scotland Yard. And by sheer coincidence, Lord Strongheart was there to attend me. That's when the second feather in my cap came into play. Would that have been your knowledge of the law? Yes, exactly. Lord Strongheart was curious about an Easterner with intimate knowledge of British law. He took me back with him to the Supreme Court and assigned me to the prosecutor's office. And then, 9 days ago, we finally got your memory back after the trial involved Draper. Yes, I did. Your father, Genshin. Ever since I first met you at Yume, you talked about your dream. Mark my words, Runosuke. I'll be chosen as a visiting student and make my way to the Great Britain someday. Yeah, I like him in black better. I mean, white. Oh, it's good too. I mean, he looks like a Prince Charming, but still, I don't really like it. Did you know the entire time about what happened to your father here? 16 years ago. When my father left on that exciting trip to Great Britain, I was just a boy. We took a photograph together the day before his departure. It's my last memory of him. But what I remember most about my father is his unswerving sense of justice. 6 years after he left, a gentleman called at our family home. He told me that Genshin, my father, had been taken ill in England and passed away. It was Professor Mikotoba, your father, Susato-san. Oh my! Ever since then, the professor was very good to me. He even helped to fund my university education at Yume. I'll be forever in his debt. But nevertheless, I just couldn't bring myself to believe what he told me. Oh! Then one day a letter arrived at our house from Britain. There was no indication of a sender, so I opened it assuming it was from an old acquaintance of my father. What I read in that letter changed my entire life. What did it say? It said that my father had been a mass murderer, and the writer cursed the Asogi name. Oh no. As a result of that letter, I found out what had been hidden from me all those years. Letter from Britain. Presumably, the letter was sent from a relative of one of the victims. If whoever it was had been a member of the judiciary, he could have been present at the close trial. The letter revealed that my father had been sentenced to death, executed for being a killer. I'm so sorry you had to find out that way. I imagine the British government did its very best to silence whoever sent that letter. As someone who knew the truth and couldn't bear the resentment was always going to be a problem. But still, it could have been written by anyone. Why would you believe such a thing? I was a newspaper cutting included with the letter. It was the first I'd ever heard of the professor and his terrible killing spree. Well, what did my father have to say about the letter? I couldn't bring myself to show it to him. What? Why not? Because he deliberately concealed the truth from me by telling me my father was taken by a fatal illness. That could have been easy for him, and he had done it out of consideration for my feelings. So, instead, I showed the letter to Judge Hoku. Another visiting student. He faltered for the briefest moments, but then he just laughed a little off. But in that moment, I saw it on his face. He was undeniably shocked, shaken momentarily before recovering his poise. A year later, my bereaved mother succumbed to the strain of grief, and she too passed away. That's when I made up my mind that one day, without fail, I would cross the seas to seek the truth for myself. The truth about my father, Genshin, and I wouldn't let anyone stand in my way. Oh, Kazuma-sama. The Reaper's Triumph. What we learned today in court turned things completely on their head. Oh shit, I forgot. I forgot to examine. It's okay. If I have to examine, I can just go back. What we learned today in court turned things completely on their head. It was an impressive... Oh shit. Sorry, it's 10 o'clock. Please don't forget to eat. It was an impressive piece of lawyering. Lord Van Seeks isn't the Reaper, you know. I almost don't want to believe it myself, but it turns out that Inspector Gregson himself, the victim, was. It's clear that the Inspector was behind the Reaper's activity all along. What? You mean you knew? The real question is, who's been giving orders to the Inspector? Yes, Baroque Van Seeks is a real Reaper. And I know that 10 years ago, it was him who decided my father must be a mass murderer and sent him to his grave. No, he was merely seeing that justice was done as the law dictates. He's not to blame. Ultimately, it's people who condemn him. The law is such a tool that they use to do. And when a man condemns another, he must take responsibility for his actions. Of course he must. But I know for certain that my father would never have taken another man's life. Because of it. On the contrary, my father's life was taken by the Reaper. Okay. He doesn't really listen. Can I examine? I think I examined everything, but still. I never have expected to find a parrot in a prison. It must be the governor's pet. Given where we are, it's hard not to see the creature as a prisoner. Let me out! Didn't kill me! Ah! Has the bird learned to mimic the plaintive cries of the inmates in the cells? No, he was one of 3 siblings, you see. And he still calls the names of his 2 brothers like that all the time. Right. Let me out! Didn't kill me! Aye. I hear you, laddie. You want your dinner, eh? Didn't do it? What the heck? That deer has been staring at me for a while. No, I'm not talking about the deer though. It has? The poor thing can't fit through the small hole in the wall, but it can't get his head back out again now either. It gave me a woefully imploring look. It's not real, Mr. Naruto. It's stuffed. What? I mean, yes, of course it is. For a moment, I thought it was another assassin sneaking in via the ventilator. I don't like to say, but I think perhaps we need to reread the adventures of her chums. Oh well. I suppose these are all former governors of Barclay Prison, are they? Either that, or former inmates who the governor has sent to the gallows. Oh dear, they all have such severe expressions, I really couldn't deny either possibility. Especially the one on the extreme right. His expression goes beyond severe into a whole new territory. That one's me. Ah! I'm terribly sorry, sir! Is it a prerequisite of the job, perhaps? Having a severe expression, I mean? Of course it's not. Although, it is taken into consideration. A lot. An axe, a hunting rifle, and 4 pairs of handcuffs. That's a daunting collection. There's a story behind every one of those. You mean... The rifle was a famous killer's murder weapon, and the axe was wielded by an infamous executioner, and the handcuffs were once used to immobilize a fierce 4-legged beast when it was arrested? I think you're in the realm of fantasy now, Mr. Naruto. Not those kinds of stories, Jimmy. That axe was the one I used to chop down the cherry tree at my house. Mrs. Caden was in the best pleased. And the cops on the left are the ones I caught my first burglar with back when it was a Bobby. The stories were a little different to those you imagine, I think, weren't they? Yes, to my relief and in some small way, my disappointment. I kinda understand the disappointment, though. This grandfather clock is fitted with a terrifying blade that keeps dropping down. It's modeled on the guillotine, a French execution device. You might have heard of it. And yes, before you ask, it can chop heads off, you mean? Hammers, no, carrots and parsnips and so forth. Oh. If you place a large carrot at the bottom here in the morn, by evening it'll have been cut clean into. Well, the blade must have an almost indescribable edge on it then. It takes the whole day to chop a carrot. That's a very large cabinet full of papers, isn't it? It's labeled Inmate Register. Look. And all the files are in alphabetical order. That's 50 years worth of records of Barclay's inmates. Whether or no they left alive after serving their term. All the details about the crimes they committed are recorded in there, like an epitaph, you might say. A record of crimes and punishments. How dispiriting. And yet, this man seems enjoying tea and biscuits as he talks about it. Okay, I think we have done everything. Oh shit. Oh yeah, should I show him the papers? I forgot I had it. What do you make of this? Oh no, never mind. There's only one place where defense lawyers and prosecutors should discuss evidence. Court. So it seems you're still confused by the situation. That's big of it. I get the feeling my friend is going to have the edge over me. Okay, fine. Yeah, I feel like we have to present. This is your honor. Actually, I think it's yours now. Sorry? You're the defense lawyer. You have a talent for it. I've always known that you do. And now, you have chosen to take that path in life. As your friend, I couldn't be happier for you, or more proud. Cousin, so you keep hold of that. Besides, I'm a prosecutor now. That armband would have no meaning. Well, if you're sure. Thank you. Aww. Yeah. What the? It's a scale model of the crime scene. Oh, yes, I realize that. Does the prosecution office make a model of the scene of every single case? Apparently so. Sometimes oh no, my goodness. Sometimes it helps to visualize things better and notice things you hadn't spotted before. Actually, the miniature notice board is my work. Be honest, you enjoyed making that. We haven't done with this yet. Yeah, that's the last place. I don't know what we should. Lord Van Sieg's fine collection of hallowed chalices and bottles of neatly done. Yes, he's extremely particular about that. He has a strict regime for everything, from the storage of the cask to the bottling of their contents. Ah, you must be having a really tough time there being his apprentice. Actually, no. He's so particular about it all, he refuses to let anybody else touch any of it. So it's been quite easy for me. Talk about weird. Yeah, well, he can be weird. There's He's incredibly stylish. It's not my style. No, I noticed you've been working at the little table on the floor, kneeling down Seiza style. I thought it was some kind of punishment set up by Lord Francis when I first saw it. I find the most comfortable way to work. I can't do it after a couple of minutes of sitting with my legs folded under me. They start to go tingling. Don't exaggerate, Runescape. We both know you can't even manage a minute. Ah, well. Do you know who the man in the portrait is? Why would I? What? But you're Lord Van Sieg's apprentice. Yes, apprentice, not friend. And during the time I was suffering from amnesia, I didn't even notice having done. Oh, really? I mean, it's not the smallest picture. I wouldn't have the first idea what the man decorates his office with. Ah, well. Okay. What? You disturbed the bats, fitting companions of Lord Van Sieg's, would you say? Actually, I've seen things fly to Lord Stronghouse's office too, Joe said. Perhaps you have to like work to attain rank in the judiciary here. Well, that's a good observation. Although bats aren't birds, of course. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, nothing. Sorry, just thinking out loud. Oh my god. Tax floor to ceiling, just like the last time we were. Hollow barrels, I suppose. They are arranged according to vintage, flavor, and region. Every week, they're all taken out and put back in. What? Every week? Lord Van Seas can't seem to settle on the perfect way of arranging them, you see. Vintage, flavor, and region don't neatly coincide. That's a trouble. Gosh, being his apprentice must be a real challenge. Actually, no. Oh? He considers the task too important to entrust to anybody else, so he does it entirely on his own. So he's a barrel of laughs here and record them? Oh well. Oh well. Sorry. Wait. I have something. Okay. So what should we do with him? What should we do with him? Should we present something? I don't know if I want to present it. I tried presenting this though. I don't know, maybe this one? Okay, fine. Okay. I don't know what to present. Because I'm sure we haven't been... Oh. No. I'm sure we haven't been talking too much about this. It's missing this. Hi. Oh, this came up in the trial, didn't it? As some little dubious, I mean. The fact that no time of death was recorded on Inspector Vixen's autopsy report. Yes, there were some unexpected turns in the courtroom. The suggestion you came up with certainly took everyone by surprise. The idea that the victim died the previous day at some other location is quite something. Well, considering when the pocket watch is stopped and the scorch marks on the camera, it's certainly a distinct possibility that evidence and the scene will point to be honest, it bothered me too, so I paid a visit to the autopsy room earlier. The coroner responsible wasn't there, but I got it. It's Dr. Gordon. If it wouldn't trouble you, Kazuma-san, we'd very much like to speak with the coroner too. Of course, the last thing I want is for anything to be brushed under the rug. Oh, nice. Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory is behind Lowgate Cemetery. Lowgate Cemetery? By Broccoli prison, you mean? You know it, do you? The prison where my father was incarcerated and robbed of his life. Kazuma-sama. Well, thank you. We'll pay a visit to a laboratory later today. Finally! Okay, good. Woohoo! Runosuke, I want to thank you. What for? For this. That explained about free flow wine during the trial. Yeah, exactly! He always have it in possession. It's fun though. You safeguarded the Asogi clan. Well, it is a famous sword that's been in your family for generations. My only slight regret is that I never got a chance to draw it before I returned it to you. Karuma is said to have been forged by Master Swordsman during the Sengoku Warring States period. I came from a long lineage of warriors, many of whom were expert swordsmen. Well then, you are a chip off the old block, I'd say. This blade, Karuma, is a symbol of the Asogi clan's honor and might. Apparently, one of my father's apprentices even took the blade's name for a surname. Really, Karuma? It just sounds formidable, that's for sure. 16 years ago, when my father was a visiting student here in Lapine, he had his sword forever at his side, which is why it means so much to me that I have it by my side again now too. And that is always true. It was an honor. Aww. Okay, let me go. Now, I have preparations to make for tomorrow. Perhaps I said a little too much. Kazuma, you have changed. No, Runosuke, I haven't changed at all. It's you who's changed. I can completely understand your resentment of Lord Vancine's given what happened. But the fact is, the events in this case are unrelated? Is that what you want to say? How can you be so sure? What do you mean? Never mind. That man is a reader, and is for the reason that the inspector was killed. I'm going to prove as much in court tomorrow, by whatever means necessary. I can't let you do that, Kazuma. I know you do what you have to do. You have to as a lawyer. But I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I won't be taking any prisoners in the court. I would expect nothing less. Until tomorrow, and behold me. Nice! Finally we can move to the new location. I wanted to, but I didn't have the thing. Fun comma reference in Japanese, Manfred. Oh yeah, it is. It is Karuma Mai, yeah. I remember that. Yes. It's fun karma, it's Karuma. That's really cool though, the reference. I really like the fun karma. I mean, I really like Francisca. She's really cool. 2nd November, Forensics Laboratory. This place really is creepy, isn't it? Well, being a dead room is probably full of the spirits of the infected. But actually, there's a rather pleasing scent of roses in the air. Well, being a dead room, the coroner probably needs a bold scent like that to mask the odor of death. Iris, do you think we could change the subject? What was that? Dr. Gory? What? That noise before. I was sharpening my nose. It'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly keen edge on it. Right. When following the collagen fibers in the dermis, and it expertly sharpens cuts like shears. Would you like a demonstration? Oh, yes, please. I'd love to see. Then, I think you do nicely. Huh? No! it wouldn't do nicely at all. I mean, maybe some other time. Chit. Was that a tit? Well, we came here to ask questions, so... Time of death. We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember. You're not dead yet. What? So Mama said it wasn't to cut you open. She's so strict about things like that. Well, good. Dr. says some scruples, at least. Oh dear. It looks like she's not interested in talking to us for the time being anyway. For the time being? Until we die? I hope there's a way off. Sorry, but I wasn't planning on dying anytime soon. Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. I have to present something. How do I? Dr. Gory, we actually came to talk to you about this. He was very good. Good? Sorry? His skin didn't snag my blade once, and very little miss. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with. We can skip those details. But there's one thing about the report that's caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded a time of death. That's not my fault. Oh, that made me jump. Then please tell us what happened. Time of death. So why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death? It's really the most crucial detail. I was told not to write it. By whom? Mayor Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice. He came here. Lord Strongheart came? He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and the other evidence, it was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 p.m. on 1st November when the gunshot was heard. But that's not the time of death you wrote on the report. You didn't write anything. Was there some reason you didn't include it? Dr. Gory, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instruction, then sooner or later you're going to go to the same way as your mother. Give it here then. What's she scribbling so furiously? There. You've written. What? What's she written? Tell us. Indeterminate. What? The details of the autopsy report have been updated in the court record. Indeterminate. What do you mean by that? Why was the time of death indeterminate? When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh, so the time of death could easily have coincided with a gunshot was heard. But there was one small discrepancy. What discrepancy? There was some fried fish in a pocket of the specimen's overcoat, and that fish has started to rot. What? If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before he went off. Well, yes. What are you really trying to say? It's possible that someone tried to manipulate their parent time of death. Manipulate? Is that even possible to do? Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. And if the overcoat wasn't on the body at the time, then only the fish would have started to rot. With today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not. But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems. But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. And I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not. But maybe in a factory? Or some other special places? I don't recall seeing any factories or such like on Fresno Street. for sure. But at the most, it might have been a day or two. No! In other words, it would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Naruto. That Inspector Gregson was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Did you inform Lost Strongheart of this possibility? He simply said that there were no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity. But if it's cold in the evening, though, if you leave the corpse outside. Oh yes, one other thing. It's something the governor of Bogley Prison told us. He said that your mother, Dr. C, was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution. The professor. Apparently, you always enjoyed listening to your mother's stories about her work, so we were wondering if you might know something about what happened 10 years ago. That's not all Mama did. Sorry? My mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zieks as well. What? Really? The brother of Lord Van Zieks, the prosecutor's final victim. The idea of carrying out an autopsy on a member of an aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then. But the detective in charge of the investigation insisted, and it was miraculously authorized. That detective being Inspector Gregson, of course. Quite an accomplishment for one man. That autopsy provided the vital clue needed to investigate. And Mama was there for that historic event. What is all this mean? You know, that amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. The professor and Clint Van Zieks. They both spent their final moments here before their burial on that dissection table there. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events. She really is proud of her mother. I wonder if you would tell us more about exactly what happened back then, Dr. Goring. Confirmation of death. The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Bogley Prison's execution chamber and signed a certificate to confirm the convict's death. Mama is the best coroner in the world, you know. I was so proud of her. But the execution didn't actually take place. No, and worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know. Oh dear, we found out recently. I believed in her, in Mama, but now I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her. You mean because you admitted the time of death on this autopsy report? But that's because Lost Strongheart forbade you from including it. Just like Mama. I'm sure she was coerced by somebody too. Yes, that's my feeling as well. There's no doubt that there were powerful forces in play 10 years ago. The execution could have been staged without a lot of people at the prison knowing about it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well. The big man with the little handcuffs? According to what he told us, he was tricked by the chief warden. He says he knew nothing about it. Of course he said that. I'd say the same thing. Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago? Clint's autopsy. You mentioned the autopsy of Clint Van Zieks. It was at a time when carrying out autopsies of murder victims was very unusual. It's still not a practice that's observed in our country even now. It turned out that he was a professor's final victim, and when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as a secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, my daddy! And there was one other person present, the primary assistant. He was a visiting student from the Far East. Wait, a visiting student? It must have been my father, Eugene Mikotoba. I had no idea if Professor Mikotoba had been involved in something so important. But the outcome of that historic autopsy, what was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor. So that's how they came to identify Genshin Asumi as the infamous mass murderer. Do you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence? Can you tell us any more? Would you like to see the records for yourself? What? Would you be alright? That's the point of keeping records if people don't. What's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them? They're filed under V at the back of those cupboards where they have the records from the last decade. Thank you! Let's see. That's strange. What, Mr. Naruto? They aren't here. There's nothing under Van Zeeks. There must be! Perhaps somebody took them away? No one's allowed to take documents related to Professor K's out of this room. But you're right. They're gone! Well, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember? It was... Oh, yes, I remember now. It was 2 years ago. A consulting detective came one day, saying that he'd like to see the records. No, you don't mean... Herlock Sholmes was his name. Deep down, I knew that was coming. Do you think he stole the records? Oh no, surely not. Iris, that can't be right, can it? Iris? Aww. Runo? I hope you don't mind, but... What is it, Iris? I've just remembered something very important I have to do. I'm going to have to leave you now. Oh, this is very sudden, Iris. Well, we'll come with you then. Oh, no, there's no need. You and Runo can take your time here. Bye for now, then. Good luck! Wait a minute, little girl. Me? I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you? Have you, Iris? Yes, 2 years ago, when that detective came. You were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen then, too. That's the way it usually works, yes. Was I? I really don't remember. Anyway, sorry, but I must dash. Wait, Iris. I'll brew up a pot for you when you get home. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely all of a sudden. Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer either. It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. That was really fun. But next time you come, I'd prefer it if you were ready for the session. I can't make any promises, sorry. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint Van Zeek's autopsy are disappeared. But I think we've asked all we came to ask now. Okay. Second November, room on Fresno Street. The police are still busily investigating here then. But Gina's nowhere to be seen. Where is she? Yes, it has been blissfully quiet, hasn't it? Perhaps she's out investigating on her own, practicing what her boss taught her. Well, I expect she'll be back before too long. Shall we wait? Actually, there's something different about this room since the last time we were here, isn't it? We could always use the time to investigate more thoroughly. There are details of cases stretching back over 10 years to his notice board. Yes, a history of Lord Van Ziek's defeats in court. I don't think that's an appropriate description. Although, when you consider everything on the board, it's certainly true that all these people have a background of dubious dealings. And in the end, of course, the board itself concealed the inspector's own death. Oh my, it really doesn't bear thinking about. The photograph of Mrs. Visual. Realizing the identity of this lady was a great clue to exposing Mr. Gossip's true identity. He obviously loved his wife very dearly, which is why he felt he couldn't tell her the truth. The transformation was incredible, wasn't it? Just from the big, twisted lip. Yes, he went to extraordinary efforts to play the part of Hugh Boo, convincingly. Although, it didn't really seem like it was much of an effort to me. Now you say it, I have to agree. It's almost as if that was Mr. Visual's true character. People really are very hard to fathom at times. Yeah, it can be very unusual. This little trunk wasn't here before, was it? Oh, it appears to be made of metal. It must be very heavy. I wonder to whom it belongs. There are some initials on the outside. Look, TG. That sounds one of the policemen who didn't know how it came to be here. It's Tobias Group. Boy, what do you think you're doing? That's my truck, that is. Hands off! Gina! Where are you hiding? I don't know, you leave some unattended for a few seconds and every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got his greedy eyes on you. Just a wild guess, Gina, but... What? Spit it out, Otto. Is it fair to say that you have only owned that trunk since this morning's fire? What? What are you trying to say? Come on, this trunk goes with me everywhere, always has. Where have you been last year? Try not to incur your wrath, maybe. Your boss. He should hear them talking to the yard now. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're saying that it was a boss who killed all them bludgers. You mean the whole Reaper thing? Yeah. Apparently, the boss was investigating stuff that no one else at the yard knew nothing about. Stuff to do with all them criminals what got off scot-free. Yes, the ones prosecuted by Van Ziek who used bribery and corruption to evade conviction. Well then, obviously, it was that blooming Reaper giving the orders, weren't it? But why would people be suspecting Inspector Gregson of being involved in the killings? There was a notebook in his office. Oh no, this doesn't sound good. It had details about all the crimes that have been pegged as a Reaper for. What? Did you see it, Gina? Did you see that notebook? They wouldn't flame it at me, cause I'm just an apprentice apparently, but it was me who found it, and he was my boss. That's right. I was pretty miffed about it, so I sneaked a peek at what it said anyway. Oh, that's how you know. Secret notebook. So, you managed to see what was written in Gregson's secret notebook anyway, did you? Way I see it, it's my right to read what it wrote. And what have you written, Gina? Dates, times, places, names, an old long list of them. All details about the bludger is supposed to have been done in by the Reaper. But there could be an explanation for that. Perhaps it was a record of the inspector's investigations into the Reaper's activities. Exactly! That's what it said! That's the first thing you'd think, right? As it happens, it was full of names I recognize anyway. Well, the Reaper's targets were almost exclusively known leaders of this criminal underworld. Well, yeah, but there was one name right at the end of right at the end, there was a bit of at the end of the list. I'm pretty sure the date against it was 31st October. Oh, the day before the inspector was found dead. So, what was the odd name? It weren't like a name I've ever seen before. It was something like, nah, it's no good. I can't remember it. I don't think it was an English name, put it that way. Oh dear, what a pity. It was something else too. I don't know if it matters, but the same name kept coming up over and over. Shin, it was. Don't suppose it means anything, but... Of course it means something. Did you say Shin? Eh? What? It does mean something? It's funny. Lord Van Seeds knew the name too. He mentioned her as well. The woman who actually did deeds. And now we find out her name appeared in Gregson's secret notebook. Your investigations. We haven't seen you for a little while, have we, Gina? Well, of course not. I've been busy, ain't I? Investigating that. The lads at the yard are trying to trace the boss's movements the day before it happened. The day before, that would be the undercover investigation to the redheaded leader. Only the boss didn't go, did he? You found some cove what? It was pretended to be him, did y'all? Yes, it was Mr. Visual who actually went to the park on Lime Street that day posing as Gregson. Huh. Well, anyway, you ain't the only one turning stuff up. I've got my own ways of getting results. Oh, I hear. When me and my partner here get together, there's nothing we can't track down. Oh, little Toby, he's such a faithful friend. So, have you tracked anything down then? What you think, eh? Of course we have. Can't tell you the whole police business, eh? Anyway, the point is, if you lot ever need any help, you know who to turn to, eh? Me and the hellhound here. Right, because he looks oh so hellish on us. The hellhound! Gina, about your hellhound here. Chief Inspector Toby. He's the pride of the force, he is. In Japanese, police dog means something quite different, and not altogether nice to those involved in crime. But here in Britain, it's a wonderful compliment, it seems, for a canine at least. It should be, after all, in the great exhibition case the other day. It was Toby here who managed to locate Drever's workshop. Maybe it's time for another demonstration of what this super dog can do, eh? Do you have something the Chief Inspector could catch a scent of it later? This one?
Take that!
Well, Chief Inspector Toby, if you wouldn't mind having a sniff of this. He might be a little too keen, don't you think? Chief Inspector, it's short work, Gina. Woof! Ah! Look what he's gone to! Oh my, that trunk clearly still has a very strong scent. Of Inspector Gregson. In other words, it must have belonged to him. Oh, alright, it's fair cop, I suppose. And you nearly got away with it too. You always talk so proudly of Chief Inspector Toby's nose and what he can achieve. Did it not cross your mind that he might identify something that was right next to us? Yeah, that was a bit of a bloomer, weren't it? That's enough now then, Gina. Eh? I think it's time you told us about that trunk. The metal trunk. It worked like that. It just worked. What are you talking about? I know what's going through that head of yours, but that ain't what happened. Alright then, what did happen? Well, like I said before, we were trying to trace the boss's movements. So let Toby here have a whiff of the boss's overcoat. And as soon as I done that, he went off like a shot. Straight to that sandwich. To a sandwich? Not to a bag of chips? Mr. Naruto, I think she's a witness. Oh, I forgot about that sandwich. Yeah, me too. Yeah, he had it hidden between them wooden boards of his, the boss's trunk. You mean when they heard the sound like a gunshot and all piled in here? Exactly! He napped it from the scene. Goodness. Me and the chief inspector gave the sandwich a good grilling. And you know what he said? I thought it might fetch a good prize if the chap wouldn't be needing it anymore, so... But that's all I did, nothing more, nothing less. Would you let Adam and me the cheek of it, eh? Seeing the dead boss's stuff flop? So Miss Venus wasn't the one who ran over to see the crime then. How could they? So anyway, that's how it happened. And it's a pretty decent trunk, so I figure I might as well make use of it. Is there something wrong with that, eh? Maybe you and Mr. Sandy should try to find the answer to that question together. I think perhaps that trunk should be turned over to the police. What are you on about? I am the police! Gina, if you wouldn't mind, could we maybe examine it? Yeah, alright then. Do what you want with it. Thank you. We shall make a detailed record of our examination of the evidence. Gregson's trunk has been entered into the court record, okay? What's the matter with Toby? Why is he acting so aggressively towards me all of a sudden? Mr. Naruto, be careful, it must be the trunk. Oh, that's so cute! That's what I want. I really want a dog or dogs to do that to me. Toby, oi, what you doing? You're gonna lick his face off. Mr. Naruto, Mr. Naruto! Gina, quickly! Hail the carriage! 2nd November 4:57 p.m. Chronicles Legal Consultancy. Oh my god. He actually fell unconscious? Oh, Mr. Naruto, are you alright? Miss Susato. Conscious again at last. A blessed relief, my dear fellow. After all, you dropped dead after a moderate licking by a small terrier. I don't know. Most unseemly. What is or isn't seemly? Seemly is irrelevant here, Mr. Sharps. I'm so glad there's no lasting damage. How you feeling? I'm fine, thank you. Did you bring me back here? Wow, what's this on my head? A bandage? Sadly, we have no ice, so that's compressed sugar water. Sugar water? Don't worry, Mr. Naruto. It's a first aid treatment that my father taught me. Oh, thank you. So, let us take tea when you're feeling up to it. But of course, no sugar in the patient's cup. Ah, the palm of my head is lovely sweetly enough, don't it? Hee-hee. Whenever you feel ready, then. I have to... When I open it, let's have a look inside. Look, there's something inside. Oh, let's see. Appears to be a passport authorizing him to travel overseas. Was Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad then? Perhaps a day the project might tell us It was for travel on 31st October, just one day before the incident. What? Really? The passport has been entered into the court record. A passport document that was in Inspector Gregson's possession was issued for travel to France the day before his body was discovered. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered. Oh shit. Look at this dark stain. Do you think? Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. Ugh, I knew you were going to say that. So that presumably means that this was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. Do you think Gina's been carrying this around with her? If we didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. Oh well, it's blood only. Oh shit, what the heck? Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the letter and into the metal band. Gosh, for a metal chest like this has been so badly damaged. Whoever made the gash must have stuck inside of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. I think it was it should be the... whatever. Do you see that? There's some stuff inside the trunk here. It's glinting. Looks like a fragment of metal of some sort. But it wedged in so tightly you can't remove it. Well, don't cut yourself. You better leave it there. Tobias Gregson, ACD 0522, within 1 week from departure within 1 week from the 1st October. Port of Dunkirk, France. Police business. Permission for the applicant and one additional person is not required. Interesting. What to do? Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? It's rather unusual to find ourselves here in the middle of investigations. It just occurred to me that I might have forgotten something when we left this morning. Please don't worry. As long as you continue to investigate thoroughly, you won't go far. Yes, of course. I must get back to work as soon as possible. Sholmes, you have some to explain. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Sholmes. My dear fellow, I think nothing of it. I must say it was quite startling. When I heard that you had been attacked by a dog, for a moment I feared that the famous murderer of so many had come back from the dead. The professor? Fortunately, you see, your proud throat is unscathed. That stiff turned-up collar of yours obviously afforded some welcome protection. Was I that close to death? All I really remember is a dog licking my face over and over and over again. Well, if you wish to avoid such troubles in the future, a little mustard spread on the cheeks should do the trick. I should think that would balance the sweetness of your bandage rather splendidly. I don't think it works though. Okay, I don't think there is something else. Can move? Yeah, we have to. Can we go back though? I wonder. Oh, yeah. We haven't examined everything. Oh, Gina's still here. Gina, I'm really sorry. I'm dabbed in it. If you asked me a year ago, the cops could go at animal for all I care. But we're gonna have police in me to catch the buggers. So us divers can go about our business in peace. Wait, sorry? I think I have heard that probably. Probably. He said he was gonna teach me everything I needed to know to be a detective. But all he got around to showing me is where the best flaming fish and chip shops are. Actually, that reminds me. Gregson said it was supposed to be worth to Paris and the anything wrong? Oh, no, I'm sure I'm reading too much into things. It's just that the timing seems very coincidental. You know, the boss was acting a bit strangely recently, like he was always in a rush. Oh, best chips in town? What is it? Why am I getting our energy? Oh, no, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, just go and relax. It's been 3 hours. 2nd November Shom Sweet. And it's still 2nd November. Yep. Oh. What the fuck? What on earth is going on in here? Am I having a bad dream? No. It's an old German folk song. Rather a fine rendition, I think. That's the least of my concerns. Iris? Iris, what's the matter? Who is that sprawling, that relaxed gentleman over there? Iris? Is she even listening? Excuse me, sir. I do apologize for troubling you while you're singing so merrily, but would you be kind enough to explain the situation? That's... Well, that worked. A prudent gentleman and a mute young girl. A rather tantalizing juxtaposition. And one that appears to have cited the gods of deduction within me to find their voices. Ah! Mr. Sholmes, you mean... The strains of reasoning within me are playing now as a delightful duet. One melody sings of a reunion full of nostalgia, whilst the other is a morose theme about the great secret you tried so desperately to conceal. Really? Is the great deduction now? She's turned as white as a sheet. So as usual, you have instantly seen to the very heart of the matter. Before you go to Shom Sweet, go back to Fredro Street and talk to Gina. Oh, I did that. And by the time my own brief performance is over, I feel sure this gentleman's song reaches finale. So then, to music land where all is sweetness and delicacy and harmony. Pray, do enjoy Sherlock Sholmes' latest logic and reasoning spectacular. Man's identity. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly he's a German with no grasp of the English language. As evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. So, why is a man here at all in such apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. Indeed, you need to only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel that particular part of this mystery. The reason for the man's mildly irritating wobbling is revealed by the herbal tea. You obviously offered our German guests a cup of your latest herbal blend. The tea's delectable flavor has made the man's spirit soar, and resulted in his joyful day tumbling incessantly from his lips. I eagerly await sampling the flavor myself, that I may join the fellow in a state of elation. Now to the next question. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the setting? As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. He acquired the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have... Oh, sorry. That might have proved problematic. In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived in my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was Willem Godtsright. Willem Godtsright Sigismund von Ornstein. The King of Germany. If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question that mask belongs to the King of Germany. It would appear that His Majesty remembers the fine service I have ordered, and has decided to show his face again, mask and all, in order to express his gratitude. A well-mannered monarch indeed, would you agree, my dear fellow? Really. So, the identity of this masked visitor is in fact my former client, the King of Germany. Indeed, his son is currently in London as well, enjoying the wonders of the Great Exhibition. Yay! Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, young Harris. But your inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside the knapsack. A 5-pound note, I believe, must say, is your patriarch and deeply saddened. It would appear that you have allowed yourself to be bribed into silence by His Royal Highness, earning yourself some spending money in exchange for a keep quiet about a king's secret. And now, the final piece of the puzzle. What is the secret you strive to hide with your silence, Iris? Ah, yes, we need only follow a brief, involuntary twitch of your eyes to find the answer. You were attempting to son without coffee cup. My favorite coffee cup, or should I say, the handle of my favorite cup? It appears that high-spirited Highness broke it in the midst of his hijinks. Which leads us to sad truth. My favorite coffee cup has been broken by the King of Germany, and Iris, you tried to conceal it from me. I shall have a bill sent via governmental channels to the German royal family for its replacement. Aww. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this painful puzzle. Well, I don't know about that, Holmes. With your silence as well, the fellow's jovial wobbling rather rings in the ears, as it's not, does it not? Mr. Jones, I must say something does rather trouble me. Pray, Musato, do tell. Royal Highness doesn't appear to have moved a muscle since we arrived. Ah, and you haven't said a word either, Iris. If Mr. Sholmes has it all right, you might as well own up to it now. Your reasoning isn't entirely without substance, I must admit. And one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Yet another grievance, Mr. Naruto? Surely not. Yet another grievance, Mr. Naruto? Surely not. Well, I actually read the story of that case recently, the one you were just describing. And according to that, at least, it wasn't the king of Germany. It was the king of Bohemia. Yes, that's quite true. Master Gods, the prince testified to that in court. In his words, I have come to see a great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. I would ask you to keep that minor error to yourselves. It could easily become quite a scandal. I believe it's in Naruto. That is our turn now to make some corrections to a number of minor errors that may have slipped in. Yes, even Mr. Sholmes is willing to admit he might be slightly wide of the mark this time. Although it's clear that Iris is definitely hiding something. We need to find out the truth behind this mysterious scene. Yeah, exactly. But one truth is incontrovertible. My favorite coffee cup is no more. So, shall we embark again on a joint presentation of Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular? Firstly, we consider a gentleman's nationality. Clearly he's a German with no grasp of English language. As evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. So, why is a man here at all in such apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel the particular part of this mystery. The reason for the man's mildly irritating wobble is revealed by the opening. So what? It's some mixed herbs that gives you the urge to sing? Goodness, I should like to try some. And I'd like to hear you singing, but this man, just how long does he intend to keep up with that tune, do you suppose? He's not even singing. As I said, he's been stuck still the entire time, and if you look closely, his lips aren't moving either. So I'm not sure what's actually responsible for the spirit. But I suspect the answer lies at the end of Iris's gaze. Yeah, that. The gramophone. Yeah.
Take that!
The gramophone! The reason for the man's mildly irritating wobbling is revealed by the gramophone. Indeed, for no well-bred gentleman would break into an obscure folk song when making a social call. In other words, this gentleman isn't singing at all. In fact, it would appear that the fellow is unconscious. The music seems to have stopped now. I asked you, Mr. Naruto. Yes? Why would I have purchased a recording of that gibberish? How should I know? Well, never mind. On with the deduction. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the setting? As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. He required the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived at my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was Willem Gosbrechen von Ocean. Blah blah blah. The King of Germany. If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question that mask belonged to the King of Germany. Although we have already established that it was actually the King of Bohemia, it seems Mr. Sholmes intends to persist with his Germany theory for some reason. Come to think of it, the young prince was wearing a mask as well, wasn't he? Master Gods? The boy whom you had in tears? Don't remind me, or anyone else. Do you suppose some members of aristocracy of mainland Europe wear masks. I'm sure they do. Well, probably anyway. The point is that mask doesn't belong to any king. No, that's right. Well, as we well know, because we can identify the true owner of this mask. Well...
Take that!
Oh. No? I just thought this might be the mask's true owner, but not as far as I'm aware. Now remind me, who are you again? Sorry? I do my best to forget those who so spectacularly hamper my logic and reasoning. Make your exit, please. Leave the deduction limelight to those who deserve it, Mr. Naruto. I thought you forgot my name. So who? We of all people should know that mask. That's right. After all, it's been here on the coffee table for some time now. Although how it came to be here, I really don't know actually. Let's not worry about the little details. The point is, we ought to be able to clear up the matter of who owns the mask very easily. Oh yeah, it's our friend, right?
Take that!
Yeah, I totally forgot he used to wear masks. Yes, there can be no question. That mask belongs to Kazuma Suki. In other words, my memory is sublimely unreliable. You tried to make us sound positive. Kazuma's mask has been languishing on this metal chest for several days. Though it doesn't explain what a gentleman is wearing it now. But it is now a simple matter to determine our guest's true identity. After all, the gentleman is unconscious. We need only excuse ourselves in advance, gently lift the mask and peer beneath it. I don't believe it. Ah! Father! I'm afraid, Mr. Sato, you must be mistaken. No! I think not, Mr. Sholmes. Then it would appear our logic and reasoning has once again revealed the truth. This mysterious visitor is my unconscious father, Eugene Mikotoba. Logic and reasoning or just looking insane. I like that! It's funny. Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable yes, you young ladies. But your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside the knapsack. So that's a 5-pound note poking out. From Iris's knapsack, is it? Oh dear, I can't be sure. Most money we encounter is in coin form. I know. I'm not even sure we've seen any banknotes here written at all, have we? But anyway, Father would never have paid money for Iris's silence. He certainly seems like the silent type himself, though, judging by his present state. There must be some other reason for Iris's silence, I suppose. Perhaps what Iris is trying so hard not to give away with her eyes is something entirely different. I cannot. Oh, the metal chest? Maybe it is a metal chest. because that's the only one that I can press. Like, really. I can't press anything. Oh, shit. What's that? Persian slippers? I don't think so. Yeah, it is a little. Yes, the reason for your weakness is concealed inside that metal chest. An excellent observation. For upon closer inspection, there is something different about the chest. It's kept locked at all times, yet now the catch is open. Evidently, this has something to do with your refusal to speak, Iris. But it's a simple enough matter to incite you to speak, I'm sure. I merely need to open this chest. Here we go! Yeah. No! Hurley, don't! Mr. Jones! Hurley! What was that? He's dead. Never! Oh, Hurley, I told you not to open it. So you found your voice now, Iris. Ah! In other words, what just happened clearly reveals the truth. Yes. Your reason for your silence and analysis. This is somewhat different to the usual dance of deduction you perform with Mr. Sholmes, isn't it? Well, he's left me alone on the ballroom floor, so I'm going to have to dance his next part solo. And anyway, I need to get to the bottom of this for my own peace of mind. Now then, Iris isn't usually the silent type, so you mean you don't actually know the answer yet? Despite that knowing the point of the finger before. Miss Susato. Sometimes a man needs to point his finger first and think later. Oh, well, if you say so. I think we'd better examine Iris more closely and try to rescue the situation then.
Take that!
Yes, the reason for your silence until now is that key behind your back. Ah! When Mr. Sholmes was thrown to the air before. Just before you called out to try to stop him, you slipped something out of your mouth. That something is a key now in your hands, no doubt the key to the chest. You're so clever, Bruno! So now it becomes clear. Thanks to Mr. Sholmes' graphic demonstration, we can well imagine what happened. But Professor Mikoto also opened that metal chest only to be punched into the air. And land sprawled on that setting. But wait, that doesn't explain all the facts. What about the stylish scarf and a cup of tea, and above all, why would he be wearing Kazuma-tama's mask? Yeah, exactly. Well, for those curious details, I can think of only one explanation. Clearly, an unbelievable miracle took place in this room. Isn't that right, Iris? Huh? Consider how the room was arranged before this whole painful experience took place. When Professor Mikoto opened the chest, completely unaware of what awaited inside, the mask was flung into the air just as he was, only land neatly on his face when he fell back down. And the teacup spinning through the air ended when it caught on the unconscious Professor's finger. Really, I don't think so. You mean to say that the stylish scarf is actually just a tablecloth? This is a great detective's office, after all, a place of miraculous deductions. Would you expect anything less? Yes, you're right. It happened exactly as you said. Brilliant, Bruno! Thus concludes Runosuke Naruhodo's great deduction of this punchy puzzle. Good morning! So then, why don't I make a fresh pot of tea for us all?
Objection!
An admirable performance, Mr. Naruto. But in the final act of the show here, you rather missed everything of importance. Mr. Sholmes, if you would cast your mind back to my earlier deduction. Iris, clearly you are hiding a great secret. Ah! She is? From the look on her face. Mr. Sholmes must be right. Whatever that great secret is, the cat isn't out of the bag yet. So, I put it to you again. You were tempted to have Son with that coffee. K.O. Sholmes. It really is a shame about Mr. Sholmes' cup. It must have been smashed when Professor Mikotomo opened the chest. Oh dear, so many things seem to have been broken here. But now that the deduction has taken a different direction, Iris seems to be trying to hide the broken cup. In other words, her great secret is something else. Let's put our observational skills to work in one final time then.
Take that!
You were attempting to exhaust with that case file. Iris, as you know very well, nothing escapes. The attention of a great detective. Oh no! We visited Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory earlier today. And Dr. Gorey informed us that the autopsy report of Clint Van Zees had gone missing. Clint Van Zees? Yes, I do seem to recall. That some years ago I asked to see the report in question. You were with me, weren't you, Iris? You mean it was you, Iris? So those papers you have there are... I'm sorry. Forgive me! I think she's trying to protect her dad. Because her dad is a lead. He led the autopsy at the time. In truth, I would like to have thought I could have predicted the Bobby trap chess. But it caught me completely off guard. I was very nearly delayed consulting Detective Sholmes. I'm sorry, Hurley. So you mean this autopsy report really is? Yes, I took it from the lab, even though I knew it was very important. Was there something in it that troubled you, Iris? Not exactly something that troubled me. Something I'd been looking for. When I saw this report, when I saw the writing in it, I knew it was Daddy's. The writing? Your father's writing? What do you really mean? Iris? It must be something that's hard for her to talk about. Forgive me for interrupting, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes, what is it? I feel as though the poor unconscious gentleman on the settee has been somewhat forgotten. Ah! For father! Perhaps we should find our guest somewhere more peaceful to rest. Mr. Naruto. Yes? Would you be so kind as to lend him your bed? We must do our very best to make him comfortable. Oh, yes, please. I'll help you carry him. And so will I. No, I can manage alone. Thank you. You have tea to enjoy. We wouldn't want Iris's brew to stew. Because there's no better way to make Professor comfortable than dragging him upstairs like a trunk. I wonder, perhaps that was deliberate. Maybe this Mrs. Jones is making himself scarce to give Iris a chance to talk more freely. Yeah, I'm sure of it. You must use this opportunity to talk with Iris and find out what's going on. Okay, that was a very long performance. Your daddy. Would you like to tell us about it, Iris, about your father? I'm sure I told you before tonight. That daddy used to be Hurley's partner. Yes, and that notes about all the cases they solved together are kept inside the metal chest. That's right, Hurley told me, you see. He said that daddy's somewhere far away now, so we can't meet. That's one way of describing it. Then, when I secretly unlocked the chest and read through the papers inside, I started to build up a picture in my head of what daddy must be like. Well, that's only natural. You're just like any other girl of your age. I read that daddy was a professor of medical science, so I studied and took my degree too. Well, that's only natural, I suppose. In that respect, you're not quite like any other girl of your age, though. But there was one thing that I could never find out. Daddy's name. His name wasn't anywhere on any of the notes that he'd made about his work with Hurley. But then one day, that's what happened, is it? When you saw this autopsy report, you finally managed to work it out. Is that right? Yes. So it was the handwriting in the report that caught her eye. Aww. The autopsy report. When I saw the writing on that report, I could hardly believe it. I know that handwriting. I thought to myself, because it was the same as the writing you had seen on your father's case notes? Exactly. I was desperate to compare the two properly. I needed to see them side by side. I asked the doctor in the laboratory, but I was told that I couldn't take the report away. And even worse, I was told that the first and last time we'd be allowed even to look at it there. So you decided to steal it. When I compared the autopsy report with the case notes I had here, there was no doubt. The handwriting was exactly the same. It was Daddy's. And the signature of the coroner at the bottom of the autopsy report read Dr. John H. Wilson. So that's how I finally found out. I learned Daddy's name at last. I see. Ever since then, I've called myself Iris Wilson. And that's also when I had the brilliant idea of writing stories all of Daddy's exciting times with Hurley. I decided there and then that I'd write the adventures of the Holocaust. Oh, Iris, I had no idea the stories had quite such a deep personal significance for you. I can see why the autopsy report was so important to her, and why she was prepared to break the law to get her hands on it. Aww. I must apologize, Iris. This is really all my fault. Really? I made a promise, you see, that until the time was right, I'd keep the details about your father a secret. I know. I've been very naughty. I'll take the autopsy report to Dr. Gory and apologize. I promise. Yes, we'll go together, I think. Then, let me look after it for you until we get there. Okay, the autopsy report of the final victim of the infamous professor. Professor? What the heck? The report was authored by Dr. John H. Wilson. I must go and water my herbs, I think. See you all later. Aww. Poor Iris. She must be feeling awful. I know Mr. Sholmes is here for her, but still. Ah! What? How? What's the meaning of this, Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes? Oh, dear me. So, you have noticed, I see. But that would mean... What on earth's the matter, Miss Usato? You turn as white as a sheet. It's this autopsy report, Mr. Naruto. The one from 10 years ago. The writing isn't Dr. Wilson's at all. Huh? What do you mean? How could you possibly know that? Because I know this writing very well. This writing is my father's. What? Professor Mikotoba's? Indeed, it's true. And now you know. My dear fellows? No, I don't know anything. What on earth does all of this mean, Mr. Sholmes? Because the idea that's slowly forming in my mind is just too extraordinary to believe. Please, you have to explain. The autopsy report, right? What the heck? So, this autopsy report was actually penned by Professor Mikotoba. But that makes no sense. It's not possible, surely? Not possible, my dear fellow. Pray, take a deep breath and think again. Yes, you're right. In some ways, it actually makes a great deal of sense. It does? 10 years ago is when Father returned to Japan after his extended study tour in Britain. And prior to his return, where was Dr. Mikotoba engaged? Of course. He was an assistant in Dr. Wilson's laboratory, learning about forensic science. And as an assistant, he would have aided with the dissection work, making detailed reports, which would be assembled into a full autopsy report. Once the work was complete, the head coroner would check the contents and put his signature on the document. In other words, the only writing of Dr. Wilson's in the report would be his signature at the end. I see. So Iris got the wrong mistake. She saw that and assumed the whole report had been written by Dr. John H. Wilson. Which is very understandable, of course. What a complicated situation. The details of Clint autopsy report has been updated. Okay. Your partner. So the partner has always been Mikotoba, thinking about it. Most of what we know about you, Mr. Jones, comes from the published stories of your exploits. Yes, the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, written by Iris. And we really have no way of knowing what's fact and what's fiction. Most troubling for you, my dear fellow. So what about the supposed partner of yours? Did it really exist or not? You come straight to the point, I see. Please come straight to the answer. I believe Iris explained it in one of her installments. He was a trusted comrade, and the only person I could truly have called a friend. And did this partner of yours truly make record of all your cases? Are his notes really stored inside the metal chest? Absolutely, my dear madam. Absolutely. So, where's your partner now? We rarely meet. Oh shit. You see, he lives on the other side of the world. But if this autopsy report and the records of your old cases were penned by the same hand, and if the autopsy report was written, though not signed, by your famous partner, there would be only one logical conclusion. Pray, impress me. Your partner would have to be Eugene Mikotoba. In other words, Miss Usato's father. How old are you, Sholmes? Upon my word, Mr. Naruto, yes? You're coming along wonderfully. You have hit upon the method at last. You have finally grasped the art of deduction. You mean to say? Allow me to introduce you to my great friend and partner, Mikotoba. Professor Mikotoba? Sholmes and Mikotoba. Does this mean that you're the real Dr. Wilson? No, dear. I'm still my old self, Eugene Mikotoba, your father. Oh, of course. This is obviously too much for Susato-san to take in. He's dressed like Watson. He is! He is a Watson. I must say, though, how my old friend has attained worldwide celebrity as a great mystery solver is the greatest mystery of all. I still remember the first time we met. Pray remind me. When was it again, Kotoba? 16 years ago, Sharps. Yes, quite. 16 years ago. I just arrived from Japan with Seishiro and Benji. I was in search of lodging and to go to the hospital in comfortable rooms at a reasonable price. The rents are devilishly high in that particular area. That's right, so I decided I needed someone to share lodgings at the expense, and was fortunate enough to be introduced to Shows, who found himself in a similar situation. I was a callow fellow back then, a mere shadow of a big detective you see before you now. I was working at a hospital's chemical laboratory at the time, indulging my curiosities for what I mean. And the situation about cohabitation led to us pursuing cases together, you see. Hard to believe, it was a mere 6 years. We had a great many adventures. But in the last year of Mikoto's stay in Britain, that most infamous of cases presented itself. The case with which you have become rather familiar yourself, Professor Killings. After the trial, Seishiro and I were summoned. Hardly surprising, given the circumstances. So, there you have it. And as you know, all the details recorded by my trusty chronicler remain in that metal chest. This is just amazing. Professor Mikotoba really is Mr. Shome's famous partner. Father? Goodness, my dear. What a cutting look. As your daughter, I'm very proud to learn that you are the great detective's great partner. But nevertheless, there's another mystery that I really must ask you to explain now. Who is Iris? And that is? You know very well what it is. Yeah, the unresolved matter of Iris's father. Of course, I'd almost forgotten about that one. I should have seen this coming, I suppose. Iris's father. Iris told us that all the notes about the great detective's adventures that are in that metal chest were written by her father. Isn't that correct, Mr. Shomes? That is indeed what I told you, Iris. But if you are Mr. Shomes' partner, father, and you wrote all those case notes, then Iris's father must be you? Upon my word, Miss Susato. You are coming along wonderfully as well. You, too, have hit upon the method at last. Your finally grasps the art of deduction. What you've always told me, Father, is that my mother died when I was born 16 years ago, and you left me in grandmother's care whilst you embarked on your study toward Britain, and I've always accepted that. But all this about Iris? Ooh, there's Susato-san's ice cold stare. No, now hold on a minute. It was very complicated. I mean, it's really not what you think. Then perhaps you'd like to explain exactly what it is. There it is. Now the ice go from ice cold to red hot just before she... No, really, you've gotten the wrong end of the stick, Shom. Say something, man. That's quite enough, my fiery fellows. Mr. Shomes, when you get all dressed up, whilst I don't like to interrupt this exciting exploration of the past, Mikotoba and I have an urgent matter that requires a short excursion. What? But it's very late, Mr. Shomes. Where must you go? Why, my dear madam, is that not obvious? My partner and I must pursue our natural enemies. So, get your coat, Mikotoba. The game is over. But Shomes, I really must give Susato a full explanation. Later, my dear fellow, later. I'll carry your ways downstairs already. You haven't changed one, Yara, have you? I mean, really, I visit our home after 10 long years, and when I opened that shed in a fit of nostalgia, I quite inexplicably passed out. And as if there wasn't enough, when I eventually regained consciousness, I'm plunged straight into all this. Father, please, go with Mr. Sherman. What? I've no doubt that whatever happened, you were acting in everyone's best interests. I trust you completely. Susato. I'm sending the great detective and his great partner off on renewed adventures together. It's more than I could have hoped for in my wildest dreams. Very well then. We'll speak again later. So, I believe your own work is done for the day. I wish you best of luck for tomorrow. Yes, Naruto. Good luck in battle. And in reaching a decision. A decision about whether to go back to Japan, I suppose. Oh my god!
So much
taking
happened
me 4
today
hours
that I barely
to
knew
finish
what to do with
just
myself.
the investigation part. Oh my god. So much happened that day that I barely knew what to do with myself.
It would only be later that I'd come to realize how amidst the chaos I'd unleashed were all the clues I needed to finally unearth the truth.
Wow.
And that all the turmoil was necessary to give me the resolve to see everything through.
Okay! Oh my god, it's the end? What? Hello, Nicole! Thank you so much for coming! I don't care if you were early or if you were late. Thank you so much. Congrats, you finished chapter 4. Thank you. I finished chapter 4, and it's gonna be the final chapter. It's the final chapter next time, Mikong! Thank you so much. I love you for coming. I hope you are having a very good Songkran festival, a very good Thai New Year's holiday. Today is the last day of the holiday, but I'm sure a lot of people are taking the next 2 days off, probably, right? Is it Wednesday today? Yeah, no. Oh, yes, it is Wednesday today. So, Thursday and Friday, I believe a lot of people are taking, they're taking a long holiday, like the whole week off. So, yeah, I really hope you guys are enjoying the holiday season of Thailand, which I believe we have only one time a year. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. We almost learned about Iris's father, but of course the game don't let us yet. So yeah, thank you so much. I love you. Mwah. Thank you for coming. Let's see who I should be rating today. I'm so hungry. Are you guys hungry? I really hope the gaprao that I ordered is good enough. Oh my god, Yu Chang is playing Resident Evil Requiem. Let's go. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and I will see you in 2 days, I think. If I recall correctly, I won't have Twitch tomorrow, but maybe on Friday or something. Thank you so much for coming. I love you. Bye-bye. Kiraryu-go! Over and out. Mwah!